I'm live on the Rumbles, rumble.com/Natalia Ines, YouTube, M&J Do Everything, Twitch, twitch.tv/Natalia Ines, and on the Facebook at MyJCB LLC. I have been tinkering with Streamlabs, so if you are, let me move this, hold on, I can't tell the difference. Alright, if you are chatting on YouTube, I believe, right now, YouTube specifically, it should pop up on the screen. I'm working on figuring out how to get my Rumble chat on the screen. So I do apologize to my Rumble followers. I haven't quite figured that out yet. The videos that I've been able to find haven't quite gotten me to the point where I can have figured it out, but if push comes to shove, worst gets to worst, I will just end up like trying OBS, because I think there's a lot more like videos and content for OBS. I know that I don't want to do StreamYard because it is more expensive. I don't know the price range for OBS. I haven't even looked into it because I'm kind of trying to figure it out on Streamlabs first, and if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out, and then we move on. Now, I don't even know if my stream is sounding properly, because I hashtag as too many times, done forgot to check the stream. Pop the Bluetooth out here and give it a check, a mic check. And we're good. Okay, so awesome sauce. So this Bluetooth is almost dead. Is this one going to? I was having some issues with my Bluetooth yesterday. Here's the dealio. I've been complaining, moaning, griping, and complaining about them not working properly. I tried all kinds of, pressing them down and disconnecting. I tried to press the reset button. None of it was really working. But then I went on the app and I reset it through the app, and somehow doing that reset has done some magic. It has done some witchcraft. And now they are working a little bit better. They are charging a little bit better. A little bit better, not completely the best, but whatever, it's quasi working. Now then, I made a comment, I think 1 or 2 streams ago, about how my hair is so dark. I hadn't noticed. I hadn't paid attention to it. Let me rephrase that. It's not that I didn't notice. I hadn't paid attention to the fact that my hair is so dark. There's like little contrast between like my shirt, because I have a lot of dark shirts, which I realized since I started live streaming, and like even how black the background of my shirt is. I mean, my chair is. English is my second language. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. It really is, though. I've mentioned this before. I didn't learn English until I was 7. But I have, as you can probably tell, a little bit of red popping out here because I had a red shirt on. That was my plan. But then, hold on. We're going to get into the game in a moment. Let's just make the camera bigger. Let's unfade it. Get all close and personal to where I feel uncomfortable, because, ooh, I have no makeup on today. Except for the lip stuff I just put on, because my lips were just like blending into my face. This shirt came in. I ordered 2 of them, one for me and one for Sweet Child, so we could match. I almost only bought 1 shirt because then we could share the way that I do with most of our screen tees, because he a big boy, so his green tees fit me. And like I've said before, why am I going to purchase twice when I could just purchase 1 time? But this one was different. I was like, this one, we need to wear this together sometimes. So I'm going to be really uncomfortable right now. I'm going to stand up in front of the camera. So we're playing Tetris. We got the 4-piece, and it had 1 job. And it messed it up. And it is so, I love this because it is so happy, like dumb happy. And then you have like the little Z, he's just like, oh my god, this guy. And you have this guy like, oh, come on. And some of them their reactions are just kind of like whatever. but I really love the ones that have the actual little faces, because it makes me think that this would be me. Like, this would be me. Like, come on, 4-piece. You had one job. Like, you had one job. Turn yourself, fit into the spot, and you couldn't get that right. So, where did my ears go? Because I feel so empty up here without my cat ears. Because hashtag I haven't taken the time to fix the rabbit ears. I have other rabbit ears, but we have a complicated relationship. I mean, I guess I could go get them. I'll be back. These are my other rabbit ears. And we have a complicated relationship, these ears and I, because there's something about their appearance that says a little bit too much like, it looks too much like a over-sexualized bunny's costume ears. And I don't like it. I like cute and adorable, but I don't like the stuff that kind of just like you look at it and it just reminds you of something that's over-sexualized, and I'm just like, I don't even think I bought these. I don't even know where these came from, because I've never dressed up as a rabbit. Like, I love making things, so I love making costumes. It's the only thing I like about Halloween. And I know it's very unchristian of me to like Halloween, but I just like dressing up. If you could give me another day that didn't have negative connotations, where I could dress up and I wouldn't be considered to be a weirdo, I would love that. Like, I would be down for that day. I think my mom found these and she just gave them to me because it'd be weird for her to have them, because she's like 67 almost. So, but I don't actually wear these. They haven't been part of any costume that I've ever made, and every time I put them on, it feels too much like I'm trying to wear one of those weird Playboy bunny costumes that you find on Halloween, and it's never been my vibe. I like creative costumes. I don't like the over-sexualized stuff, and even if I just don't like it, because it doesn't feel authentic for the craftsy costume enjoying part of me to use Halloween as an excuse to go out into public spaces looking like a whore. Oh, here's my cat ears. Yay. I mean, it may be a controversial take. I don't see how you could find that to be a controversial take. Like, what else do you want to call it? To be running around in like a corset top, pants that really are just like slightly longer. Actually, pants that you could basically just call bloomers. Like, if you went back a couple of decades, they would just be bloomers, not pants. Not panties or pants. Like, it's like ridiculous. Like, so you're over-sexualizing yourself. Call a spade a spade. And it's not a creative at all, the costume. I love the creativity of Halloween. I love the creativity of making something, and that's just me. I'm weird, apparently. If you're not mainstream, you're weird. That's what they say. John used to love Halloween, but he didn't like Halloween per se. He liked us getting together and watching me make his costume, and then he loves candy, because like most kids love candy. So, but then over time, with my mom constantly telling him that it's not Christian and it's demonic and stuff like that, he stopped dressing up, which, you know, to a certain degree makes me kind of sad, because now I have no one to make costumes for. It just makes me sad. I'm trying to find My old... Oh, wait, you know what? Maybe I need to go to photos instead of... Maybe I need to go to Google Photos. So the last time he dressed up... The last time he let me make him a costume... Was that 2020? It was 2020. Oh, I can't show... That would probably get me striked. Okay, I think this one's okay. Is well enough. Because he had some props that may get me striked if I happen to put it on screen. So, but you can probably figure it out. So, he wanted to be the Red from Among Us. I love Halloween. Like, I honestly do. But I don't love Halloween for anything other than... So I guess the thing is that I love making costumes. I love making things. Because even like, and I know I call him Sweet Child all the time. It's not to avoid his name because I've said his name on other streams. My son's name is John. He's named after his dad. But, so there's other things like, let me get the charger. My phone's about to die. So... One year he asked me for a Minecraft cake, and they didn't have any Minecraft cakes at Walmart, and I went to like 2 bakeries, and Minecraft wasn't as mainstream, I guess, to the point where, and this is 2017, so it should have been mainstream enough, but it just wasn't mainstream enough to, like, I don't know, I couldn't find anywhere that had a Minecraft cake that I could make, that I could just order and pick up a Minecraft cake. So what I did is I bought him a green cake, and I ordered it to pick up as soon as the bakery opened. So like 8:30 in the morning is like the first slot that you can pick up a cake in our local Walmart. And I just got a plain green cake that said like happy birthday on it in brown, and then I bought a bunch of Hershey's, and I sat down for over 30 minutes and broke these Hershey bars, and I bought milk chocolate and dark chocolate Hershey bars, and I broke them into different size pieces, and then I don't think you can really see, so that I could make him a grass block cake. And I bought some little tiny pieces of some little tiny Minecraft characters and some little Minecraft cardboard characters. I put them together, and that was like the decoration for it. But yeah, I love making stuff. It makes me so happy. And he really liked the cake. I actually, his last birthday when he turned 11, I made him a cake that was a coding cake. Now that is something. Look, if you think a Minecraft cake was hard to deal with, a coding cake, nobody had anything. So, guess who had to figure that one out? This guy. It took some work. I thought it looked terrible, but he loved it, so that's good enough for me. I think I have pictures of that here. Hold on. Go to Sweet Child's birthday. Where is it? Where is his birthday pictures? Here we go. Do I not have... Was it not this cake? No, this is 10. Oh, I went too far back. I need 2022's birthday cake. So I had to make it. No, that's Pocono's pictures. We're almost there. My apologies. I didn't know I was going to go into this tangent, so I did not have these photos prepared. And almost there. Oh, don't tell. What? Did it not back up properly? Why isn't it loading? Oh, there it goes. It's loading slowly. And here we go. Okay. It's taking its sweet time. Anyways, very proud of myself, pat on the back, 2 days in a row, that I actually did what I said I was going to do. Good job, me. I'm impeccable, amazing at doing what I say I'm going to do for Sweet Child. I struggle at it for everything and everybody else. Why aren't these loading? So yesterday on my stream, I said that I was going to... Oh, these pictures aren't loading. Why aren't they loading? What is up with Google Drive? Like, that's kind of annoying. What if I go to this Google Drive? No thanks. What do I got for... No, 2022. 2022, that's what I want. I just want the picture of sweet child's cake. It's not loading properly. Man, that sucks. Well, basically, what I did was, I couldn't find anyone who would make the cake for me. I couldn't find anyone who would make something similar or even understood about making a coding language cake. So what did I do? I bought him a plain old regular cake. And then I learned how to deal with fondant. And then I hand wrote with some cake pens, cake markers, lines of code that just equate to, if you were to input it into a computer, it equates to like happy 11th birthday John. And that took some time because I was trying to keep it straight, so I had to like work with a ruler, and I thought it looked terrible, but he loved it, so that's what counts. The birthday boy was happy, so that is what counts. I love crafting things. He's actually got me on this adventure right now. He has me on the hunt for the first hat that I ever knit for him. Now, actually, it would have been the first hat I crocheted for him, because I'm pretty sure that one was crochet, not knitting. And I made it for him when he was like 5. And I made it kind of big, so it lasted for a while. Right now, it doesn't really fit him, but he like stretched it out so he could fit it to about here. And we never take that hat out of the house. It is strictly his wintertime sleeping hat since he kind of outgrew it. So it's in the house somewhere. That's all I know about the status of that hat. It is in the house somewhere. And I have looked like under his bed, which was like the first culprit that I could think of, like where it could actually be. It was not under the bed, and I didn't find it. I think I know where it is. Because I was about to say, I didn't find it in the couch. But here's the thing. I took the cushions off of the couch and I didn't see it there. But what I didn't do is peel back the fabric of the couch and look inside of the couch. Our large couch, the 3-seater, because we have a basically like a love seat and one that sits 2 people, one that sits 3 people comfortably, and the one that sits 3 people has the appetite. I don't even know what is always eating. It's got the appetite of a goat because it's always hungry and it eats everything. One day it ate my son's school Chromebook, and it's not one day, it does it all the time. Anytime he just puts it like on the side of the couch, and then in the morning we're like, oh, where's the Chromebook? I'm like, did you check to see if the couch ate the Chromebook? 9 out of 10 times the couch ate the Chromebook. It just does that. Oh, that's some of the feet. Who keeps turning on the... sweet child. He's the only one who comes in here. I have my laptop on a stand because I don't want it to overheat. It's on like a fan thing. And I should probably swap these out because he actually needs a fan. I'll do that today. Actually, now it occurs to me. I don't know why he turns it on because I don't need it. My computer doesn't overheat the way he does. It's a stand and it's got the fan in it, but I don't need the fan, so I never turn it on. And then every once in a while, I just keep hearing this kind of starts getting annoying sound, and then I'm like, why is this turned on? It's RGB and it's really pretty. Well, it's fun to watch. It's kind of soothing because it does this like RGB thing with the lights keep going around it. So I guess he must occasionally just turn it on just to see the lights and then forget to turn it off. But I'm actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that I even thought about this at all, I'm going to swap. I've got 2 stands. I'm gonna give him this one where the fan actually works, because the one that he's been using right now, since I took him off of my desk and put him on the tiny desk, this is the one that actually works well. I bought this one for his gaming computer, which is my old gaming computer, because the reason I replaced it is because the cooling system doesn't want to cool. And when you're editing, especially if you're editing, at the time when I replaced the computer, I was editing on Adobe, and Adobe uses up a lot of resources. Now I use Filmora, so it doesn't overheat my computer the way it used to, but I'd already purchased the new computer, the new gaming laptop, so I gave him my old one, but that one still doesn't cool properly. And I don't feel like replacing the whole cooling system. I might do that at some point. It's something I've never done, so it worries me. So I am going to give him this stand and take that other one. Just because I don't want my computer flat, because then it's not going to be able to do its cooling job. That was a whole lot of stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with the game, and every time I started to almost say something about the game, I deviated and went off on a tangent. Welcome to my stream, where tangent might as well be my middle name. I have started saying this 2 times, 3 times, not sure. Actually did what I said I was going to do. Today is trash day. I was wondering why it's so noisy. It's trash day. That the trash truck is outside. And thank God for people that do that job, because I used to live in New York during the waste management strike in the 90s. That was terrible. Oh, that was terrible. If you do not appreciate... No, you need to. Y'all need to just appreciate your waste management people, because if you've not lived through a strike of the waste management people, man. Oh, man. That is when you definitely... That's what people in New York, maybe not newer residents, but people that live through things like that in New York, they have the utmost respect for their waste management people. As if you lived in New York in the 90s during that waste management strike, oh, man, that thing was rough. You talk about as crowded as New York City is. Just imagine it. You take your trash bags out to the curb, the truck comes and takes it away, but just imagine. No truck comes, and the trash just keeps piling on and piling on and piling on. Not only was it gross and smelled disgusting, but also mice and other rodents and cockroaches became exponential during that time. It was horrible. It was terrible. It was terrible time. So be thankful for your waste management staff and be courteous to them. Because if they go on strike, it's rough. Now then, I got on my tablet, I went on IGN.com, and I went one more step. As I had mentioned in yesterday's stream, I only wrote down the name of the missions and the general area where they were at. And then we ended up spending about at least half of yesterday's stream, which was almost 2 hours, just trying to figure out who do we have to talk to even do these side quests that I had written down. And I said, I know it's going to be a little bit more cheaty, which I didn't want to do, but I don't think anybody wants to sit here just watching as I walk all of Hyrule trying to find who's going to give me these side quests. So I actually hopped on the IGN map again. I didn't do it yesterday. I went to sleep yesterday. But I did it this morning before I hopped on stream. And I wrote down the names of the people that are supposed to give me these missions. I didn't do all of them because that was going to take too long, but I did a lot of them. So now that we have a direction in which to go in, and that I've rambled for 24 minutes about things that mostly have nothing to do with the game, let's put our screen back the way it's supposed to be. And again, like I said earlier, I am trying out... Actually, you know what? I'm going to chat for myself so I can test it out to see if it works. I looked through the program on Streamlabs, and I saw how one goes about possibly maybe putting some of the chat on stream. Unfortunately, not the one from... No, you shush. I don't want feedback. Put the volume all the way down. Okay, go ahead. Say whatever you want to say. Okay, go to live chat. Live chat. Hello, live chat. Now let's see if it pops up on the screen. I see it here, but is it on the screen? I see nothing. Do I need to change the order that it's in? No. But if I move this? Okay, so how exactly do I make it so this is in the front? What if I move it here? If I move it there we go. Okay, apparently I need to change the colors of that because you can barely see it. It's also very tiny. But as we can now see, because we have checked it, I do have some of my chats on screen. I still have to figure out how to get Rumble to be on the screen, but as of right now, from my understanding, if you chat through YouTube, Twitch, Facebook maybe? I'm not sure about Facebook. Not 100% sure there. But definitely Facebook. I mean, not definitely Facebook. Definitely if you chat through YouTube, it will show up on the screen. One of these days, hopefully by the end of this week, I will figure out how to also get the Rumble chat on there. But as of right now, I only have some of them. I guess I could, like, it doesn't really tell me how I can okay, that's a good one. This shows where it's coming from. Okay, it looks like I can see, I'd be able to see Twitch and YouTube on the screen. So if you are watching me on Twitch or you're watching me on YouTube, your chats will show up on screen. I'm not 100% sure about Facebook, and I know for a fact that Rumble isn't embedded into the code as far as support for Rumble chats go. So that's a work in progress. Now then, please feel free to interact with me, and it will actually come up on the screen. Woo! Gosh! As Sweet Child used to say when he was little. Look, I'm telling you, the best part of my life is being a mom. It is absolutely the best. I greatly recommend it. If you know what? No, it's good for me. There's too many people that look at kids as if they were accessories, so I'm not going to recommend it for everybody. But I'm having a wonderful time being a parent. It is the joy of my existence. God knew what he was doing when he sent me that child. Like, he definitely knew. He was like, yeah, this is the right one for you. Alright, left one? Left one. Alright, so now then, almost half an hour in, let's introduce the actual video. We are doing side quests, and apologies for hitting the microphone. Side quests and side adventures, because why? We don't want to finish the game over here. We want to keep on playing this game until the next game that I really want to play comes out, which is Pikmin 4, and that doesn't come out till July, so that means that we need to get the most out of Zelda for the longest amount of time, and that is why I have yet to do the final mission. However, we are still working. Hey PB, how you doing today? Good afternoon? It's afternoon, right? Not morning? Okay, cool. I don't know if you logged on early enough to see that I've made a little bit of progress on having the chats on screen. So far, if it's a chat on YouTube, Twitch, possibly Facebook, it is coming up on stream, on the screen. I'm still trying to figure out how to get Rumble chats on Streamlabs, but if I can't figure it out before this month runs out, because I only paid for the first month and I'm still trying to decide what to keep, like I said before, I will try out OBS, because the one video you sent me, the most recent one, that was for StreamYard, and I quit StreamYard because they're more expensive. Where was I? Oh, yes, introducing the video, even though we're like 30 minutes in. Tangents might as well be my middle name. So I have the side quests. I have written down who I need to talk to for a lot of them. So let's get into a little bit of gameplay. Because I did go off on a tangent, there's only going to be about 20-30 minutes tops of gameplay on this stream, because I do have to go. I do have to go, be a parent and pick up my child from school. Yeah, they all seem very similar, but they tweak it just enough so what works in one doesn't necessarily work in the other, because they title things differently. It's annoying. I mean, I get it. It's so that they can be, like, I'm gonna pronounce this wrong. Proprietary. I despise when I mispronounce words. They want things to be their own so they can differentiate themselves from other programs. And it's only annoying to the creators who are using the programs. But I mean, it's whatever. I'll figure it out. I'm halfway there. I got 3 of the 4 platforms that I'm streaming on. Chats will come up on the screen. So I'm doing better than I was before. Be better every day than you were the previous day. Strive for that. There's no such thing as perfection, but you can be better than you were yesterday. So I'm going to set a timer for myself, because I lose track of time easily when I'm doing something that I find fun, and I find Tears of the Kingdom extremely fun. I know it's, I can read it. In my mind, I can say it properly, but even when I look at what you wrote, I'm like, and I can say property without a problem, but for some reason, the PRO followed by the PRI, because it's PRI, even if you don't pronounce it as I. But anyways, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, proprietary. It's not proper. I hate that word. Oh God, it even got me to say a word I don't really like to say. I despise words that I have such a hard time pronouncing, and that no matter how hard I try, it's like it's not coming out. And oh man, I know some people don't care, but I really love language, and I care about language, and that's why I've even ranted multiple times about the deterioration of language, because I think language is very important. And it frustrates me when no matter how hard I try, I just can't pronounce certain things. And it really is a second language issue, like, because English is my second. Well, I think so. I think that's the issue, but I do run into a lot of people that English is their primary language and their first language, and they still can't pronounce a lot of stuff. They can pronounce a whole lot less than I can. So maybe it's not a language thing. Maybe English is just hard sometimes. So let's do some side quests. Do a little random rant as they come up, because I do have some rants. Well, I have lots of rants. I have a lot of thoughts and ideas. They don't keep me up at night, but they are things that I think about. Oh, I don't know if you just got here, so you didn't see my shirt. I'm gonna get myself uncomfortable again. But I love this shirt, and if it deteriorates, I will eventually repurchase this shirt, because I love it. So I'm going to. I don't know if you're like my age range, my generation. I'm an 80s baby, a mid-80s baby. But if you're also in that age range, you probably get this. You had one job, and you know what this game is, and you know this idiot. When it had one job, just fit right here, right there, just fit right there. I found this shirt and I thought it was amazing. I almost only bought one because Sweet Child and I can wear the same size shirts. So all my screen tees, we just share them because I'm cheap. But this one, I was like, no, I need my own and one for him so we can occasionally wear them together. And he loves those "you had one job" videos. So I thought this was perfect for us. And I love it. There's little faces on the different pieces, and some of them are kind of all like happy for no reason. They look dumb happy, and some of them just have that face like, you had to be that guy. That guy. And let's not forget, we will randomly and by we, I mean mostly you guys, will be randomly subjected to the karaoke that nobody asked for. I was listening to some podcast today, and it brought up something that I've talked about with my brother for a while, my youngest brother, and it is a stance that I have, and I believe in it wholeheartedly, and I really think we should change things in our country. It's about the education system. Okay. We all have developmental stages that happen at different points in our lives. Sometimes they may come on a little bit earlier, a little bit later, a couple of months here and there, but in general, there is a bit of a rubric, a bit of a standard of how our developmental stages and at what point our developmental stages happen. I have a hypothesis that a lot of the struggles that we have with kids here in America in schools is because we force them into a developmental stage before their time. Forcing them into kindergarten, into this like streamlined and do this, sit here, be still, sit for all these hours and go contrary to what your biological inclinations are as a child, which is to move and be social and be rambunctious and play. It's stunting their growth at the appropriate times. So my hypothesis is that if we changed our education system to where kids didn't go into this rigid structure of education at 5 years old in kindergarten. I agree, there's so many issues and so many holes in the system, but this is one that I think they probably won't do it because they're not trying to raise critical thinkers. But I think we would be very well served as a society if instead of putting kids into like kindergarten at 5 and forcing them into this structure that they are not biologically predispositioned for and it's outside of their natural developmental stage, we would have kids that are having less issues and fewer struggles throughout their school time. Now, I'm not saying, there's a lot of people that are going to complain like, oh, well, what are we going to do with our kids because we got to work. Now, I'm not saying don't educate them. I just think it should be preschool until they're 6 and have it be a little bit more freeform, a little bit more focused on social skills, interpersonal relationships, and then at 7, they start first grade. So while they're doing this preschool phase, thank you, I try. It's hard. It's very hard. I'm not going to deny that. It's hard to find people that get what I'm saying, that like actually understand where I have a lot of people kind of stare at me, either like I grew a second head or like they're staring at me just to be respectful, but they're not getting any of what I'm saying. And if you think about it, when you repress a stage, it doesn't disappear. If you look, they don't. I agree. Many people do not practice critical thinking. Or looking, and I tell my son this a lot of times, you have to look beneath the surface. You got to look behind the curtain. And I tell him, like, this is one of the, I'll make reference to, like, The Wizard of Oz, and I'll tell him, like, I mean, a lot of us over 30 struggle with it. It's gonna sound like I'm big upping myself again, but I consider myself to be an outlier. Because I find that I reach certain developmental milestones way sooner than my peers. So my attitude towards not seeking outside validation and kind of just like being, look, this is how I am, these are the things that I do, this is how I live my life. I can remember as far back as being like 19 in the army and being like, look, this is just me. Like, you don't have to be a part of my life. We don't have to interact. You don't have to be my friend. we don't have to interact outside of the absolute necessary for our jobs. But like, I'm not going to change the positive things about myself because they make you uncomfortable. You can just choose not to interact with me. And that is generally a way of thinking that you don't get to until you're later in age. And I'm not saying that I'm not open to changing. Like, if I realize I self-analyze to a fault sometimes. So I was never saying even my bad habits, take it and I'm not going to change. I was more of the mindset like, I'm not going to change my good habits just to make you comfortable, because you don't have to interact with me. You are choosing to interact with me. So don't interact with me and then tell me to change. If it's a negative, yes, please criticize me. Tell me all the negative things I'm doing, because I can't see everything that I'm doing wrong. There's a lot of things that I don't perceive as being wrong because I'm not necessarily in every single second of the day putting myself in other people's shoes. However, if you give me critical observations, then I can choose to be dumb and ignore it, or I could choose to do the smart thing and find how to improve myself. A lot of people will say like, oh, take me as I am. It's like, no, don't take me as I am, because I got a lot of bad traits. If it's a bad trait, let me know. And if you can help me towards improving, then please also help me towards improving. But sometimes just being told that one of your traits is bad is enough to self-motivate you to change. And change isn't always bad. Change can oftentimes be good. Thank you. What are the 3 types of character traits, please? Okay, this is the one I find. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I did cheat with the whole IGN thing. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm gonna stay at my parents' house until I remarry. And if I happen to not be blessed with a second marriage, then I guess I'll just be with my parents until they pass. And that's just because, I mean, you know, for a time I was really ashamed and uncomfortable with it, but I don't think it's an impressiveness thing. I think it's really more of being aligned in the way you see the world and how you interact with it, how you want to raise your kids. I mean, I'm not saying I have standards, because I'm of the personal belief that you should be attracted to your partner, because I think that intimacy should be a duty. If you don't enjoy it, it's part of marriage. Oh yeah. As far as it being the statement many make, accept me as I am. It's like, no, don't accept me as I am. Accept my good traits. Let me know the ones that are negative, because I would prefer to improve. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. Nothing stagnant smells good. And it's the same for a personality, and it's the same for a person. It's kind of like how a lot of people cop out and say that, oh, I didn't see that growing up. I didn't see an example of that. It's like, okay, you may not have seen a positive example of something, but more than likely you saw a negative example of it. So you can choose to now decide, what are the steps I need to take to make sure I don't repeat those mistakes, instead of living in the mistakes, being stagnant in them and repeating them, and then calling it generational trauma. Make an impression. Thank you for clarifying. I don't know, at one point I said I need to go somewhere more traditional like Texas, but then Texas started getting poisoned as well. Yeah, like that's a good man. I think my dad's a great dad. I have a great dad. Not had. I was thinking of it in terms as when I was younger, but my dad is still like giving me gems that probably because I listen to him. Like, I'm grown, but I'll never be more grown than my parents. So, like, I'll never be more grown than my dad. So, like, when he tells me something, like, oh yeah, Dad, you're probably right. And what I found as I got older, that the things that I would say, like, oh, Dad, that's in your time. And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, that was a dumb thing for me to say, because truth is truth and it stands the test of time. I was just being obstinate. He is a wise man. My dad's the best. I think your dad should be your hero. And the other thing, I think, as far as your mom, I don't understand why people make it so twisted and warped, and you'll hear women say something like this. They'll be like, oh, what, you want to marry your mom? Oh, thank you. High five for great dads. Yes. I randomly go into, because he works remote right now, so I'll randomly go into his office. I'll be like, Dad, I just want to thank you. He's like, for what? I'm like, for being my dad. Because you're the best dad in the world. But I think there's another thing that I hear a lot of women saying, and it makes me angry. It makes me angry now. They'll say like, oh, what, you want to marry your mom? It's like, no, you perverted retard. The one woman who should, in theory, love you unconditionally is your mom. Love and care for you without expecting anything in return. Therefore, what the man wants is not to marry his mom. He wants to marry a woman who treats him the way his mom did. Idealistically love him without expecting anything in return. Hoping the best for him. Trying to positively reinforce growth while still loving him unconditionally. Idealistically. Not because of any kind of equal exchange. I don't understand why don't you get that? Like, the one person that has loved that man unconditionally is his mom. Why do you have to be so weird and perverted and be like, oh, you want to marry your mom? No, he doesn't want to marry his mom. He wants to marry a woman who treats him as well as his mom, who loves him as well as as unconditionally as his mom loved him. And I don't think there's anything weird about that. Because, I mean, like, really, who wouldn't want that? Who doesn't want that? Do you know what I do for my son? If he had a bad night, like, he gets hot easily. And sometimes there's not enough ventilation in his room, so he'll sweat a lot and he'll move around a lot. They do lack the ability to to think critically. He'll end up getting like that pain in your neck and arm from when you sleep in a bad position, because he'll be like he'll spend the whole night just shifting throughout his whole bed. And I will put his socks on because he'll be like, it kind of hurts to move. So who doesn't want that? Like, who doesn't just want that? Like, oh yeah, I feel terrible, and this person who I love is also taking care of me, and they say something so nice, like, I will put your socks on. That is not degrading. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's loving and caring. They are. Yes. Actually, I watch the Fresh and Fit podcast many a times, and I find I had this moment where I thought maybe I should just start like my own show translating into womanese what they are saying, because I find that a lot of people don't read between the lines. Like, you have to give them every single little detail, and if you're expecting every single little detail, yeah, you're gonna get offended, because there's a lot of things you're not gonna understand that are like contextual, that you should kind of just figure it out. But if they don't lay it out part by part by part by part, they get offended. It's like, it's not offensive. They just have the expectation that you have a minimum understanding, a minimum amount of knowledge. But that seems to also be lacking. I had this day where I took Sweet Child to the park. There was a man who was there with his child, and we started talking. This was around election time, maybe last year. Or not last year, but like last election cycle. And I made a comment, and this is where laziness comes in. I made a comment, and I was like, well, I mean, because, we don't even, it's kind of annoying because we don't even vote for the president. And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you know how our electoral system works, right? Like, we don't actually vote for the president. He's like, no, I don't know. What do you mean we don't actually vote for the president? I'm like, we cast our vote to let our representative know this is who we stand behind and we would like you to vote for. But it's a very flawed system because there's no guarantee that your representative is going to vote the way that the vast majority of the people in that area are asking them to vote for. And it's extremely problematic because at that time, there were only 13 states that even give a fine if you vote against what your constituents want. And on top of that, the highest fine is only $5,000, which is like, half of one paycheck for those people. So it's kind of like not conducive to what the people actually want necessarily being reflected in who gets elected. And he looked at me like I was crazy. He's like, I didn't know that's how it worked. And I was like, sir, what was I back then? 34? It was like, I was either 34 or 35 when this conversation happened. And the man was the same age as me. And I had to work really hard to like school my face because I know that what I wanted to look at him as was like, are you dumb? How do you get to be this age? And for anyone who has the commentary, he was born and raised American. Not this wasn't someone who's like an immigrant. This is like born in America and getting really close to middle age, and was surprised when I explained to him how our election system works. So yes, intellectual laziness. I'm going to use that from now on. I hope that's not trademarked or copyrighted, because I am going to steal it. Well, actually, if it is copyrighted, can I just have like rights to that for free, preferably? I'm going to take your silence as you acquiescing. I will take that as a yes for those who don't know what that meant. You read mysterious instructions discovered by casual such. Find the place mentioned in the riddle. Oh, well, I didn't actually pay attention to the riddle. Maybe I should pay attention to the riddle. Yes! The power of the Sage of the Wind. It's not an exclusive? Okay. I like it though, intellectually lazy. Oh, it's fine. You can. The owl, the dragons, could those be statues? Oh, there is an owl statue nearby. It's this one. This one? So do I just use Tulin at this statue? Tulin, come here. Where are you? Tulin, hey, come here. And I mean, I'm fine. We don't have to share logs. My teeth are not in the greatest position. I can't chew on logs. I made the mistake of going to get dental work at the VA hospital. I've been paying for it ever since. And I don't have the financial capabilities of going somewhere else to get all the thing that they messed up fixed. Oh God, I can't stand that look. I have someone who I won't necessarily name in this video, my brother, who is always telling me, like, you should listen to more left-wing sources. You should listen to more leftist stuff. And I'm like, no, why? I'm conservative. Doesn't make any sense. I call the deletion of a small child the deletion of a small child. Call truth, truth. The truth is the truth. Yeah, but what he said was that I needed to go to some like extreme leftist. And I'm like, nah, it's okay. It really is. And too many people have agendas. I was actually telling him, and I'm not going to name names, but there is an organization who purported themselves to, and they have several creators, and they purported them, there's a couple of them out there, so this does narrow it down, but they purported themselves to be like more conservative and more this and more that and more right-leaning. And I was talking to my brother a couple of days ago, and I'm like, I have a conspiracy theory. He's like, oh my God, what is it? And I'm like, look, this specific organization were like, I saw some of their content like a year and a half ago, and they were staunchly right. And now I accidentally stumbled onto some of their more recent content, and they're moving more center. So my conspiracy theory is they're getting ready to push someone for some sort of public office of high visibility, and now they're on the grift. I think both extremes are bad. I think you have to see both sides to see what the conversation is, and to also be able to dismantle it. Because if you can't dismantle the other side, but you say, I believe in the opposite, like, why do you believe in the opposite though? Like, how do you support what you believe in? Because I mean, some people just believe something because that's how they were raised, and I guess, you know, to each their own, but I prefer to have context behind what I believe in. Because if you don't have the background knowledge to back it up, like, how do you explain your point to somebody else other than saying I'm right and you're wrong? It's like, no, these are the reasons why I find the way that I move and the way that I live my life to be right for me. Like, you do whatever you want to do, because my Bible says that each individual person is going to give amends at the end of their life for what they've done. So I don't have to pay for your issues and your sins. This is how I move, because I believe that I will have to give account for everything that I've done. Oh yeah, it was great when news sought accuracy instead of view count. It was closer to being accurate. Because it feels so unfortunate to get to the point where the New York Times is so discredited, because that was like where you used to go. Like, the New York Times does an expose, and it was like actually an expose. But now we're not in those times anymore. They don't want a discussion. They don't want a discussion, and I find it very hard to have discussions with the other side, because it's not just that they have their opinions and their views. It's like they want you not just to be like, respect, that's what you believe, like, all right, believe what you believe, but they want you to accept what they believe to be the truth, the only truth. And if you don't if you're not on their side, it's like there's something wrong with you. Suddenly you're a misogynist, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're an ist, you're some sort of ist. And I'm like, no, shave your pits, it's gross. If you don't want to shave, that's your business. Women empowerment and freedom and unrealistic beauty standards, whatever. Great for you. It's not for me. So you do you. Don't try to force that upon me, and then don't also try to convince me that I should find it beautiful that you don't shave your pits or your legs. Like, no, you look like a Sasquatch. That may be controversial, but I'm just saying, like, that's live your life. But don't impose on me to have to also like your life. Like, no, that's not attractive. You look like Sasquatch. If you choose to not shave, that's your business. But also, if men choose not to date you, don't get mad. Because it's gone from, this is what I believe and you should respect it, to not just respect it, but you should accept it and you should like it. It's like, no. I'm not here to say that my way is the right way. I find it to be the right way for me. I find it to be the correct way, but I'm not going to say like, oh, and you have to like the way that I do things. And if you don't, you're all of these ists that are terrible. I am going to make you out to be a terrible person because you don't believe what I believe. Nah, though. Let's just agree to disagree on that. It's all kinds of things. Even with that, like the whole, oh, you should still find a woman attractive even if she doesn't shave her armpits. It's like, no. If you're happy that way, you be you. But I think it's unhygienic. It looks terrible. It's not attractive. And you can't then try to make me feel guilty because I find it unattractive. And I stand on the men's side if they say, no, I'm not going to date a woman who doesn't shave. Why? Why? And then they go into off on these tangents about how it's a social construct and all these, and it's sexist and all these things. They're forcing these beauty standards on women. I'm like, look, it's hygiene. It's a beauty standard. Yeah, sure, it looks better. But it's also hygiene. And it also just looks so unnatural. It looks so gross. When you see a woman do, like, and you just see a whole, like, Cabbage Patch Kid popping out of their armpit. Well, I mean, I'm from this time. If I was living 250 years ago, maybe I'd be like, oh no, that's totally cool. But I live in 2023, and I don't think it's cool. It does not look good, and I would not want to go back to that time because it's like the smell of it too, though. Like it's harder to. I don't like it. To each their own, but allow me to not have to like you because you do that. Yeah. That is what it is. It is trolls, not Cabbage Patch Kids. They are hiding trolls under their arms. Like. Two dragons. Two dragons. What time? My timer just went off. It's 2:27. So I need to do this two dragon situation and then cut the stream while I go pick up Sweet Child and then return to the stream afterwards. Two dragons. Two dragons? Where are there two dragons? Is it this? What does this look like? They don't really look like dragons. It really does look like I just saw that message again. I'm like, it really does look like trolls. Like they're hiding little trolls dolls. Oh, you are from like, you lived through my time. that is a very specific reference. Is it here or here? I had trolls. Why did we even like that? I don't understand why we even like that. Like, they're Which one is a fire? Is it you? I guess. You're the closest thing to fire, right? Is that it? It was. It was. I remember when they had trolls at McDonald's for the Happy Meal. Trolls are weird. Why were they always naked? They needed clothes. Maybe. Alright, what's the next one? The next one is... Where did it go? Oh. The 6 dragons and the long dragon. Oh, it's not... Okay. Let's see what he tells me. Wait, no. What am I doing? Look at me, getting distracted. Good conversation and good gaming. I utterly lose track of time. Because I literally just said, I'm going to finish this and then end the stream for now so that I could go be on time for Sweet Child. Who's mad at me right now? It's fine. He'll get over it. It's the end of the school year. Okay, so I'll give this... I'll tell this story before I end the stream. So it's the end of the school year. And... So he can use his phone. He messages me a little bit earlier. He's like, I'm sad. I'm like, oh no, why? He's like, well, I can't do fun day time. And I'm like, why? And he's like, the gym is too crowded. And I'm like, okay, well, when is it not going to be too crowded? And he's like, oh, well, the period that I would be going to gym, I could go. Hey. And I'm like, okay, then that's when you should go. And he's like, but there's going to be way too many people that aren't even from my gym period. I'm like, all right, but like, just so what? And he's like, you know, I don't like crowds. I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but you've been looking forward to this day for a while, so kind of like just suck it up and drive on. And he's like, you're not helping. And I'm like, okay, child, look, I'm sorry, but your actions, your choices have reactions. Your actions have reactions. So if you choose to not go to the gym to do the fun stuff that you've been wanting to do, like, the reaction is that you miss out on the fun stuff that you wanted to do. Like, if you're choosing to let fear and discomfort win out over the fact that you want to go do this fun thing, then you just have to deal with the reaction to that action, and that is that you miss out on the fun. And he's like, you're making me more sad. And I'm like, look, child, I love you, but this is a choice you have to make. You have 3 options. You stay the course and stay sad. You confront your fear and discomfort of being in the gym with all these people that you don't know. Or you focus on positive things that you can do or will do later on today to focus your mind on good things rather than these sad things. These are your options, and you have to choose which one you are going to do. I don't know what else you want me to tell you outside of this. I'm not going to coddle you, so I'm sorry if that's what you were looking for, but I'll see you this afternoon and we'll have a great time. Yeah, because at first I gave him something to try and distract him, and he's like, that's not helping, and I don't care. And I'm like, okay, look, you get 1 line of attitude from me, and that's it. And that's when I just told him, I'm like, you have 3 options. You stay this course that you're having right now and stay sad. You face your fear and discomfort, and you go have fun with, you know, your friends and the couple of dozen kids you've never really seen before because they're from a different grade. Or you miss out on the activity, but you also spend the rest of your time focusing on the positive things that are waiting for you at home and the things that we're going to do today, because today's Wednesday, it's outside food day. We're going to go to IHOP, sit down, have a conversation, have some food that he loves. And I'm like, these are your options. I'm sorry. He may have been seeking for me to coddle him, but he only gets that if he's sick. He's not sick. He's just being... He's being facetious because he knows what he can do to make himself feel better. He wants to be coddled, and if he's sick, I will coddle him. He is not sick, so he can just. Y'all are going to despise me for saying this, but he could just man up. I mean, that's why you have such soft adults, because too many parents didn't allow their kids to have to man up and woman up as they were growing up, and you handed everything to them on a platter, and you gave them all super soft pudding so they never had to chew anything. They never had to chew on rocks, so they never had to figure out how to get around problems. So now we have these super soft adults that we, as the older generation, get super frustrated about when they're like drowning in a drop of water. It's like the most minimal thing, and they're drowning, and then we're getting mad. It's like, we are not allowed to get mad if those are the people that we raised. Like, if that's how they were raised by our generation, do we really have the right to get mad? We should have done better. So I make the conscious decision every day, no matter how much I want to coddle my sweet, sweet child, that I need to not do that, because otherwise he's going to turn into one of these adults that everybody complains about, including myself. Exactly. I agree with that, PB. I definitely agree with that. And, children are going to get sad, and it's going to hurt your heart, but you can't think about the right now. I'm thinking about 15 years down the line. I'm thinking about 30 years down the line when I'm not around, maybe. I might still be alive, but I'm saying, like, I constantly frame my interactions with my son as, what if I'm not here tomorrow? What is the foundation that is within him to continue his growth into adulthood? And if I coddle him, and then, God forbid, I die young and I'm not around, like, his life is going to be unlivable. I need to make sure that I help him grow into someone who can live without me. Like, that is your purpose. Your children should outgrow you successfully. And that's not to say, and that may sound like hypocritical because I live at home, but it's like, I don't need my parents to pay my bills. I don't need my parents to take on the responsibility of my negative choices, because I don't always make good choices. I deal with all my consequences. I deal with all the reactions to my actions. I pay all my bills. I deal with any and all my debt. I deal with all my stuff. We just happen to live in the same structure. So I need to raise my child to be smarter than me, be more agile than me, be more astute than me, be more logical than me, be better than me in every regard, because I'm not going to be around forever to give him everything on a silver platter. He needs to know how to fight for it, because even if I'm around, I don't know if I'm going to be around and unable to help him. So he needs to know how to help himself. Might be a controversial take for some people, but I mean, that's generally what I perceive, because if you have any kind of biblical background in your upbringing, you're supposed to vet the person you're going to marry, because that's the person that's supposed to be with you till the end of your lifespan. Your kids are not for you to keep forever. You're supposed to help them to develop and grow into amazing, worthwhile human beings that are contributing positively to society. Help them get their feathers, all the proper feathers, and push them out of the nest, and have them fly and soar successfully to where they don't embarrass you and your last name. The nest is always available if you need somewhere to land, but you have to be able to take care of your problems by yourself. So when I'm having a problem, I don't go to my dad. I handle it because I am an adult. I may talk about it to my mom when I just want to get something off my chest, but I do also let her know, I just want to get this off my chest. I don't need you to solve anything for me. I will solve it because I created this. Accountability, personal responsibility. There is something that I did that led to this happening. And I need to do something to lead to a successful outcome. That's not to say that your parents aren't there to back you up. Like, my parents are like, yeah, no, this is the best place for you. Come home. That is support. That is backup. My parents are there for me. But they're also not over here paying my phone bill or paying my car or letting me freeload here for free. Like, I pay rent, I pay utilities, I contribute whenever we need to replace anything, I pay for pest control. There's all kinds of stuff that I take on because I'm not living here for free. Because that's not what you're supposed to do. Like, even when you help your kids, they should still be helping themselves. Controversial take. Raising kids to be able to take care of themselves and be contributing members of society. Positive contributing members of society. Let me quantify that there. So, I am at about the time that I need to go pick up my sweet child from school. I will stream again today because I got so sidetracked on all these conversations and all these tangents that I didn't get a lot done. I got 2 side quests done, and I have a lot of them written down here with the actual people that I need to talk to. So we will get more side quests done today. I am aiming for 8 more because I wanted to do 10 altogether today. Since we did accomplish 2, that means we do need to do 8 more, and I will do that in the later afternoon stream. So, I will see you guys this afternoon. PB, I hope you're able to hang out with me next time. And thank you so much for the donation. And I will eventually figure out how to put the Rumble chats on the screen so everybody else can follow along with our conversation instead of just hearing my responses to your statements. It was great to see you and have you here as always. As I said earlier in the stream, let me plug all my other medias. I am on YouTube at MNJ Do Everything, on Rumble where I post all of my content, not just the game playing. All of my rants are on Rumble. So rumble.com/NataliaInez, YouTube, MNJ Do Everything, on Twitch at twitch.tv/NataliaInez, and on Facebook, if that's your preferred platform, at MyJCBLLC. When I post on Instagram, it is Natalia_adulting, and that is my business Instagram because my personal one is private. So I'm going to go ahead and be uncharacteristically Hispanic and log out.